Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Jermaine, and I'm back with another Simple Truth episode. And, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you something that I have finally become fully aware of. And a lot of times when we have a certain point of view, it takes us a while to come around to what that point of view is fully encompassing once we have the chance to be able to research it, to read about it, find out more, and then investigate. Now, I'm talking about GMOs, genetically modified organisms. Now, I have to be the first to tell you when I first heard about GMOs and how different foods were being altered, I, like many people, just let it go straight over my head, didn't really pay too much attention to it. I said to myself, food is food, it really doesn't matter. But then as I began to hear the drum sound about GMOs and about how important it was to get more information about it, and about Monsanto and these different companies doing these different things, I really started taking a closer look. And what I discovered really began to enlighten me, open my eyes, and bring me from a point of ignorance to a point of knowledge. I came across an article. This article comes from a couple of weeks ago, and it comes from one of the many sources that I use, naturalnews.com. And the article is entitled, Side Effects of GMOs. Ask your doctor if cancer is right for you.
This comes from naturalnews.com. Side effects of GMOs. Ask your doctor if cancer is right for you. If I sprayed your salad with some Raid roach killer right now, just a little bit right on the lettuce and maybe a little more on the tomatoes, would you still eat it all? And just assume your body will simply filter out those small amounts of toxins? Better yet, what if I paid for it? A nice big tasty bug killer salad that you could even take outside and no bugs would bother you at all. Would you eat it? How about this? If I sprayed a quick shot of some Raid ant killer into your orange juice or your apple juice right in front of you, would you drink it? Especially if you'd save 25 cents on every drink you drank from now on. What if the vegetables, fruits, and fruit juice drinks were sold that way and cheaper than the non-Raid food? Would you still buy them? Wouldn't that pay off for you in the long run? I guess not, because you're not stupid, are you? What if the number one side effect of your medication was cancer? Would you still take it? Just to temporarily make the headache go away, or maybe to make a little muscle ache disappear for a few hours? GMO means food and medicine are genetically modified with bacteria and sometimes with viruses, or with weed killer, worm killer, bug killer, and people killer. Pesticide food is well planned out and has been for decades. Let's look at history for proof. Pesticide food timeline. 1940. Hitler uses odorless gas created by the pharmaceutical conglomerate IG Farben, Monsanto, Hachette, BASF, and Bayer to gas to death millions of Jews in WW2, atrocity at Auschwitz, and other concentration camps. 1950s. Hitler's scientists and deadly gas creators are sentenced for their war crimes of enslavement and murder. The scientists somehow only get put in prison for 4 to 7 years for mass murder. And when they get out of jail, the US government and major pharmaceutical firms hire them to work on food chemicals and pesticides for American farmlands. 1960s. United States uses Agent Orange, created by Monsanto and Dow Chemical, to burn down the thick forestry of Vietnam. But millions of Vietnamese families get cancer from it, and tens of thousands of U.S. soldiers come home with cancer, most to die from it in less than a decade. 1980. Aspartame, a genetically modified sugar substitute banned for decades, was pushed through the system legislation by Donald Rumsfeld and Ronald Reagan, who fired the head of the FDA and put in place their own partner in crime right from the first day Reagan took office. This toxification of millions of innocent Americans auspiciously timed for the weight loss craze phase of the 1980s. Rumsfeld just happened to be the CEO of Searle Pharmaceutical, and Searle profited in the billions. So much for inner trading laws and conflicts of interest. The U.S. government was blatantly breeding cancer and selling it as food. 1990s, reign of the biotech big agriculture and pharmaceutical giants Monsanto, Dow, DuPont, Hosich, BASF, and Bayer, German mass murdering scientists and their disciples, continue intense work on the real GMO frankenfoods that are most popular in the United States. Cancer-causing corn and cancer-causing soy, both resistant to the pesticide ingredients used in Vietnam. 2001, George W. Bush and his conspiring Vice President, Dick Cheney, under advisement from Donald Rumsfeld, subsidized corn and soy in the U.S., helping Monsanto Corporation basically enslave U.S. farmers with seed, equipment, and pesticide deals where they are legally bound to use toxic Roundup pesticide on Roundup-ready crops, the ones that contain pesticide in the seeds. 1940 to 2012, no U.S. legislation restricting pesticides in food. The most evil biotech companies are allowed to police themselves. The government sets no limits on the amount of Roundup contained in corn and soy, nor how much can be sprayed on them as well. No FDA regulations for GMO infant food, including GM pesticide in infant formulas. Biotech becomes the fancy umbrella name for pesticide food manufacturers. September 2012, French scientists conclude first ever long-term study of GMO on rats. Extensive research proving GMO corn causes horrific tumors in rats, killing 70% of females early, long before their average 2-year life expectancy. October 2012, Monsanto, Dow Chemical, DuPont, Bayer, Dean Foods, the dairy giant, General Mills, Kellogg's, and Smucker are fighting to keep GMO foods unlabeled so cancer can be perpetuated. Insurance companies invest in fast food industry, thus banking on more people getting cancer. To make matters worse, several organic food companies sell out to the GM-owned corporate elite. 2013 and beyond. No end in sight. Most vaccines and flu shots contain GMO ingredients. Chemotherapy, aka Agent Orange, is pushed on the masses as a viable treatment for people who have been steadily consuming pesticide, fluoride, bleach, aspartame, MSG, and GMO. Side effects of GMO for all animals. Attention, all humans, you are animals also. Remember, human beings have over 90% the same genetic makeup DNA as monkeys, dogs, cats, and rats. When you consume GMO corn chips, cereals, wheat products, soy, milk, and the like, you are heading off a health cliff. Turn around now. Stop eating GMO, and that includes meat and milk, which comes from animals shot up with GM hormones, steroids, and the corporate animals which eat GM feed like corn and alfalfa. Find out exactly how to quit eating GMO food right now. Find out how to help get all GM food labeled. Side effects of long-term GM food consumption include liver cancer, kidney cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, for men too, thyroid tumors, Parkinson's disease, infertility, birth defects, autism, and brain tumors. The dreaded diagnosis of cancer has been linked in over 260 studies worldwide to agrochemicals. The three-tier cure for cancer. Number one, drink spring water. If you don't trust it in plastic bottles due to bisphenol BPA, just find natural springs near where you live. Number two, eat only certified organic food or grow your own. And number three, eat superfoods. Remember, knowledge is power, and no person or organization can ever take it away from you. Remember that the body is the temple of the soul, so treat it that way. Otherwise, if you're still considering a GMO food diet or regimen, be sure to ask your doctor if cancer is right for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the simple truth of the whole matter is that we need to be cautiously aware of what we are allowing to go into our bodies. Many people, and you've heard me say this before, many people are voluntarily committing suicide with the fork. And we must wake up. We must become more knowledgeable about what we're putting into our bodies. I want to thank you for joining me. This has been The Simple Truth. And as I always tell you, the simple things are oftentimes the most profound. But yet, they are the most difficult to put into practice and to actually do. I'll be back again with you real soon. I want to thank you for joining me. And as I say, I'll see you and you again on another episode.